What is up, my ninjas? Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing that till it's a thing, I guess. Oh, it's never gonna be a thing. It's never. You guys are. I don't know. If y'all like that, I guess comment. I don't know. Anyway, all right. So today I thought maybe we talk about motovlogging this episode. So, one word of advice: if you're looking into getting into motovlogging, don't. Oh man. Oh man. They're from Canada. Oh, hey, welcome to America, eh? Welcome to Texas, eh? I know at the beginning of this I said don't get into motovlogging, and I'm gonna backtrack a little bit and talk about another thing that I used to do, which was stand-up comedy. If you're friends with me or know me for any amount of time, you know that there was a time in my life where I'd go on stage and tell jokes to people. And I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. But when you're in that scene, when that's what you... Somebody lost a shoe. When that's what you do, over time you come to find out that... well, let me back it up. Over time, you know, you start out, you're new to the scene, and then you find other people come new to the scene. And usually when... somebody's new, a lot of times they'll ask for advice, like, hey, you know, they'll ask the quote, the old timers, you know, like, hey, what do you think I should do? What are some advice? And a lot of the times, I would say probably like 90% of the time, it didn't matter who you asked, they would tell you, quit, don't start comedy. And I always thought it was kind of a funny answer, but I realized later on that it's not just a funny answer, and it's not about anything other than the person asking the question. Like, it's how I was thinking about it earlier. Somebody asks you what you think on something, like, really, does it matter? Does it matter? So, oh, there's a puppy. So, like, if you want to get into something and you want to do something and you ask somebody for their advice, I mean, really what you're wanting is a little bit of encouragement from them, right? You want them to say, yeah, here's what you do, make it easy. But in the comedy thing, like, I always thought it was very multi-layered. That don't answer, multi-layered, because it could mean a lot of things. Like, now, comedy isn't necessarily competitive, but it can be. I mean, especially in some arenas where there's only like a couple of places to get paid gigs. You don't want to be fighting other people for time. You know, you want to get out there and do your thing. But at the same time, you know, that initial don't is kind of like telling people, like, you know, hey, don't do it. And if they don't, then they weren't confident enough to tackle this on their own. Whereas if they don't let that don't stop them, then they've got that initial confidence and they know that they're going to do something with it. And there's a lot, I mean, it's very, very multi-layered when it comes to comedy. And so basically, if you want advice on motovlogging, my answer is don't get into it. If you take that don't as the end all be all, then guess what? You're not going to do motovlogging. You didn't want to do it in the first place. You were just kind of curious and you wanted to ask some questions. But if you weren't going to let that no deter you, then obviously you already have your own ideas of what should happen with motovlogging, what you want to do, how you want to do it, and maybe you just want to know, hey, what video editing software do you use? What kind of computer do you use? What kind of cameras do you use? How many cameras do you use? What are your ideas on covering different topics? You know, it's like I guess with the comedy and with the motovlogging, once you get into the brotherhood and kind of earn your stripes, so to speak, then people are a little bit less standoffish. I mean, in comedy, I know a lot of people in comedy. I still keep in touch with a lot of them, even though I haven't been on stage in several years now. But they're still really good people. They're still really cool people, and I enjoy talking to them and seeing what's going on. And the really cool thing, and this has nothing to do with anything, the really cool thing is a lot of times I'll bump into them somewhere, and they'll like, holy crap, what you been up to? And that really makes me feel good because, you know, they're genuinely concerned. I went to see a friend of mine. She had a head loading spot in Austin, and I had some time, so I went up and saw her, and she was so excited that I came outside. We talked to her for like an hour after the show. It was pretty awesome. It's pretty daggone awesome. But anyway, getting back to motovlogging. Hey, if you already have your ideas of what you want to do with the motovlog, if you want to do with a motovlog, then go for it. Don't ask anybody's help. Just do it. You got a motorcycle, you got a helmet, you got a camera, you got cameras, you got a computer. You could, if you really, really wanted to make it happen, you could do it with your phone, I guess. You know what? You totally could do it with your phone. You just get a decent mount and mount your phone, and then just record, and then go back and talk over the video. Nobody knows you're not talking while you're riding unless you got a lot of hair. I mean, you could pull it off. I guess the point is, if you really want to do something, there's nothing going to stop you from doing it. So if you need advice, make it good advice. Like in comedy, generic advice is whatever. Like, hey, what do you think I should do? How do you think? What kind? That's just dumb. Like, ask for something specific. Hey, that joke I told, you know, I think it could do better. I think there's some way I could change it, but I just can't think of it. And then they'll like, oh, well, hey, you know, instead of saying this, say this, that. And then you're like, oh, yeah, you're totally right. That sounds way better. And then that joke is better. So yeah, when it comes to motovlogging, hey, if you want just generic advice, go away. If you want advice on something specific, then yeah, let's open that conversation. You want to know how a specific camera works? You want to know how a specific microphone works, video editing? You have some questions, you want to do something a little differently? Do a little research. Earn your stripes. So, with all that being said, don't get into motovlogging.